Have you ever dreamed of a land where history and nature collide in perfect harmony? A place where ancient mountains touch the sky, rivers carve secrets through timeless valleys, and cities whisper stories of empires long gone? Welcome to Bulgaria, a country that defies expectation, where every step reveals a new wonder and every corner holds a story waiting to be discovered. From the first glimpse of the Rila and Pirin Mountains, shrouded in morning mist, to the sparkling waters of the Black Sea glimmering under the rising sun, Bulgaria reveals itself as a land of contrasts. Majestic yet intimate, wild yet cultivated, ancient yet vibrantly alive. Here, the past does not simply exist, it breathes, it whispers, and it invites you to become part of it. Over the next journey, we will walk the cobbled streets of Plovdiv and Veliko Tarnovo, wander through rose-scented valleys, explore ancient Thracian tombs, and stand atop peaks where the world seems infinite. But Bulgaria is not just about sights, it's about the feeling, the connection, and the soul of a land that has inspired poets, kings, and explorers for centuries. Get ready to uncover the wonders of Bulgaria, the stories most travelers never see, and the beauty that will linger in your memory forever. There are places on this planet that you don't just see, you feel them. Places where every mountain, every river, every stone seems to whisper ancient stories you can't fully understand, but can't ignore either. Bulgaria is one of those rare places, a hidden wonder on the edge of Europe, often overlooked, yet holding within it some of the most breathtaking landscapes, mysterious ruins, and unforgettable legends the world has ever known. And as you begin this journey, one thing becomes clear. Bulgaria is not simply a destination. It is an experience that reaches into your spirit and refuses to let go. At first glance, Bulgaria appears quiet, almost reserved, like someone who has lived too much history to speak loudly. But beneath this calm surface lies a soul shaped by thousands of years of civilizations. Thracians, Romans, Byzantines, Bulgars, Ottomans, all leaving behind traces, layers, and echoes that blend into a rich cultural tapestry. It is a land where modern life collides beautifully with ancient worlds, and where the landscape itself seems designed to inspire awe. Traveling through Bulgaria is like turning the pages of a story written in earth and stone. The air carries the scent of forests that have stood for centuries. Rivers flow through valleys untouched by time, and mountains rise like guardians protecting secrets of forgotten kingdoms. The more you look, the more you realize that Bulgaria's beauty is not just visual, it is emotional. It is the kind of beauty that moves you before you even understand why. In its villages, life unfolds slowly. Wooden houses with stone foundations, old wells carved by hand, and vineyards stretching to distant hillsides create scenes that feel frozen in time. Here, traditions live through everyday rituals. Bread kneaded by hand, firewood crackling in ancient stoves, and voices singing melodies passed down from ancestors. These customs are not performances. They are lived experiences, holding the essence of Bulgarian identity within them. But Bulgaria is also a land of contrast. While its countryside preserves the old, its cities pulse with modern energy, cafes buzzing with life, markets filled with color, echoes of languages from across the world. And yet, no matter how fast the cities move, they never lose their connection to the land. Their roots anchored in centuries of resilience and pride. It is this harmony between old and new that makes the country feel alive, evolving, and deeply authentic. What makes Bulgaria truly remarkable, however, is its sense of mystery. Legends are woven into the landscape, carried in the wind, carved into cliffs, and hidden within forests. Stories of mythical creatures, heroic kings, and ancient rituals keep the imagination alive. Sometimes, as you walk through a quiet valley or stand before a mountain peak, you may feel as though you've stepped into a different realm, one where reality and myth exist side by side. Bulgaria's rivers and lakes shimmer like mirrors, reflecting both the sky and the past. Its mountains, whether gentle or rugged, seem to breathe with a presence that commands silence, and its plains stretch endlessly, carrying the golden glow of sunlight as though painted by a master artist. Every direction you turn offers a new discovery, an ancient ruin, a stone fortress, a centuries-old monastery tucked away where you least expect it. But perhaps the true heart of Bulgaria lies in its people. They are warm, generous, and deeply connected to their homeland. Strangers quickly become friends. Stories are shared over homemade wine and dishes rich with flavor and tradition. Their pride is quiet but powerful, rooted not in monuments or achievements, but in a deep love for their land, culture, and history. It is through the people that the spirit of Bulgaria shines brightest. As this journey begins, you stand at the threshold of a country that holds wonders beyond imagination. A land shaped by empires, softened by nature, strengthened by time, and enriched by legends. Bulgaria is not loud or demanding. It does not beg to be noticed. Instead, it waits patiently, confident that once you see its true beauty, you will never forget it. This is the beginning of a journey into a place where past and present walk hand in hand. A place that speaks through mountains and whispers through forests. A place that invites you to look deeper, to feel deeper, to discover the unseen. Welcome to Bulgaria, the land of hidden wonders. Have you ever stepped into a place where time didn't just slow down, it seemed to loop, echo, and breathe all around you? That's exactly what happens here, in one of Bulgaria's most mystical regions, a land where ancient civilizations carved their beliefs into stone, where nature guards secrets older than recorded history, and where every step feels like uncovering a forgotten chapter of humanity. This is not just a destination, it's an awakening. And as we move deeper into Bulgaria, the country begins revealing layers you never imagined existed. Traveling east from Sofia, the landscape transforms dramatically. Gentle slopes rise into craggy formations, towns shrink into clusters of red-roofed houses, and the horizon opens wide as if inviting you into a story written long before our own. This is the path that leads to the Belogradic Rocks, one of Bulgaria's greatest natural wonders and perhaps the most surreal geological masterpiece in Europe. As you draw closer, the silhouettes of towering stone giants start emerging, shapes that resemble humans, animals, fortresses, mythical creatures. They don't feel natural. They feel intentional, sculpted by a force with purpose. The rocks stand like silent guardians, their reddish hues glowing under the Bulgarian sun. The moment you walk among them, something shifts inside you. The wind whistles between narrow passages, carrying whispers of Thracian rituals said to have taken place here thousands of years ago. Legends follow every formation: the Adam and Eve rocks, the Rebel, the Madonna, the horseman stories woven by generations who tried to make sense of this impossible landscape. But no matter the tale, one thing is certain: this place was never meant to be ordinary. It's a reminder that the world still holds mysteries far beyond what we can explain. High above the stone figures rests Belogradic Fortress, an ancient stronghold that blends so seamlessly into the rocks that it feels as though nature herself built it. Over the centuries, Thracians, Romans, Byzantines, and Ottomans all expanded and rebuilt this fortress, each recognizing the power of the terrain. Today, when you stand on its highest terrace and look out at the endless sea of rock formations, the world below seems frozen in time. It's a moment where you understand why kingdoms fought for this land. Its beauty is not just breathtaking, it's strategic, spiritual, and enduring. But Bulgaria's northwestern region holds another secret, a place often overshadowed, yet spectacular in its own right. A short journey from the rocks leads you into the depths of Magura Cave, one of the most fascinating prehistoric sites in Europe. As you enter, the temperature drops, darkness surrounds you, and the air grows still. Then, slowly, your eyes adjust and the walls begin to speak. Painted across the limestone surfaces are thousands of ancient drawings, dancing figures, hunting scenes, symbolic shapes, stars, and rituals. Created between 8,000 and 4,000 years ago, these paintings offer one of the earliest windows into human imagination. Inside these chambers, you can almost hear the echo of ancient footsteps. People once gathered here to celebrate seasons, perform ceremonies, and record the essence of their beliefs. The silence of the cave, interrupted only by distant droplets of water, feels like a sacred pause in time. Few places on Earth capture the raw essence of early humanity the way Magura Cave does. It reminds us how deeply connected we are to those who came before us, and how their stories, carved in darkness, still illuminate our world today. Emerging from the cave's cool depths back into the Bulgarian sunlight feels like awakening into another reality. The countryside returns with its golden plains, quiet villages, and the slow rhythm of everyday life. Yet, something within you remains changed. You've witnessed the forces of nature sculpt the impossible. You've walked through a fortress shaped by ancient empires. You've read the messages of humans who lived before history even had a name. And this is only the beginning, because as we continue our journey across Bulgaria, even more wonders start to unfold, some forged by nature, some built by hand, and others born out of myths that still breathe through the mountains and the sea. What comes next will reveal a side of Bulgaria few travelers ever truly discover. What if I told you there's a place where mountains breathe with legends, where ancient monasteries cling to cliffs like whispers of forgotten prayers, and where nature's silence says more than words ever could? A place where every turn feels like stepping deeper into a myth? Welcome to the Rhodope Mountains, one of Bulgaria's most enchanting regions, and a land that feels alive with stories older than civilization itself. As you ascend into the Rhodopes, the world transforms. The noise disappears, replaced by the soft rustle of pine forests and the distant chiming of sheep bells echoing off emerald hills. Mist rolls across the valleys in slow waves, as if the mountains themselves are exhaling. The air is cooler here, cleaner, sharper, almost sacred. It doesn't just feel like another part of Bulgaria. It feels like another realm, one sculpted by nature but shaped by legend. The Rhodope Mountains are deeply tied to the ancient Thracian civilization, and it shows in the energy of the land. This is the birthplace of Orpheus, the mythical musician who, according to legend, played melodies so beautiful they could tame wild beasts and make stones weep. And when you stand on one of the quiet mountain ridges, with clouds brushing the peaks and endless green stretching to the horizon, you understand why this myth was born here. The landscape itself feels like a song, a slow, haunting melody that wraps around you and refuses to let go. The journey leads toward one of the region's most iconic and spiritual sites, the Bakhkovo Monastery. Set against a backdrop of towering cliffs and dense forests, the monastery feels like a sanctuary hidden from the modern world. Founded in the 11th century, it carries centuries of devotion, war, rebuilding, and resilience. When you walk through its heavy wooden gates, the atmosphere shifts immediately. The courtyard is peaceful, shaded by ancient trees whose branches stretch like protective arms over the monastery walls. Inside, the frescoes glow with deep blues, golds, and reds, centuries-old masterpieces that have survived empires. The smell of incense fills the hallways, mixing with the soft flicker of candlelight. Pilgrims and visitors move quietly, almost reverently, as if aware that they are walking through a living piece of history. The icons of saints, the intricate murals, the echo of footsteps on stone floors, everything creates a feeling of timelessness. It's a place where faith becomes tangible, not through grand displays, but through the quiet, enduring presence of the sacred. Leaving Bakhkovo, the road curves deeper into the mountain heart and leads to another extraordinary destination, Yagodina Cave. one of the longest and most beautiful caves in Bulgaria. Entering the cave is like entering the Earth's hidden cathedral. The formations inside are astonishing, delicate draperies hanging from the ceiling, towering columns formed over millions of years, and crystal-like formations scattered along the walls. As you walk along the dimly lit path, the temperature drops and a hush settles around you, amplifying every drip of water echoing through the chambers. But the Rhodops are not only about caves and monasteries. They are also home to villages that feel suspended in time. One of the most magical is Shiroka Laka, a place where folklore is not just remembered, it's lived. The village is famous for its unique architecture. Stone houses with wooden balconies rising along steep slopes, connected by winding cobblestone paths. Here, traditional music still flows through the streets, and locals celebrate ancient customs that have survived untouched for generations. Walking through Shiroka Laka at sunset is an experience you never forget. The golden light slips between the rooftops, casting long shadows over the river that cuts through the village. Smoke rises gently from chimneys, carrying the scent of wood-burning stoves. You hear distant melodies, Gaida bagpipes, being practiced by young musicians, preserving the traditions of their ancestors. The village feels like a living museum, but one where the past isn't preserved behind glass. It lives, breathes, and evolves through the people who call this place home. As the stars begin to appear above the Rhodo peaks, a quiet realization settles in. This region is not just beautiful, it's spiritual. It connects you to something ancient, something profound, something beyond the ordinary. The mountains hold stories in their forests, their caves, their villages, their monasteries. Stories that remind you of the strength of belief, the endurance of culture, and the timeless bond between people and the land they call home. And as we prepare to continue our journey across Bulgaria, one thing becomes clear. The wonders are only growing deeper, more powerful, and more unexpected. What waits ahead will reveal yet another side of this extraordinary country, one shaped by history, nature, and mystery still unfolding. What if I told you that one of the oldest cities on Earth isn't in Egypt, Greece, or Mesopotamia, but right here, in the heart of Bulgaria, a city older than Rome, older than Athens, older than most ancient capitals we celebrate today. A place where layers of history lie beneath your feet, where every street whispers a story, and where the past and present live side by side in a way few cities on Earth can claim. Welcome to Plovdiv, Europe's oldest continuously inhabited city. The moment you arrive, something feels different. Plovdiv isn't loud about its greatness. It doesn't boast or impose. Instead, it draws you in slowly, subtly, like a story that unfolds with each step. Cobbled streets wind through colorful houses. Hills rise unexpectedly from the urban landscape, and the scent of coffee drifts from small cafes where locals begin their day. Life here feels effortless, yet deeply rooted in centuries of human experience. Plovdiv is built upon 7 hills, known locally as the Tapeta, and each one offers a different view, a different emotion, a different era. But the heart of the city lies in the old town, where the architecture becomes a living museum. Houses painted in deep reds, blues, and ochres stand shoulder to shoulder, their wooden beams stretching out over narrow paths. Their curved facades and ornate details reflect the style of the Bulgarian National Revival, a period of cultural awakening that shaped the country's identity. Walking through the old town feels like traveling through time. Every turn reveals another preserved house, another courtyard alive with flowers, another doorway carved with history. Yet the crown jewel of this ancient district rests at the top of a hill, the Roman theater of Philippopolis, one of the best preserved Roman theaters in the world. Built in the 1st century, this magnificent structure still hosts concerts and performances today. Standing in the theater, surrounded by marble seats carved nearly 2,000 years ago, You feel the weight of time pressing gently around you. The stage opens toward a sweeping view of the modern city below cars, lights, people, movement, while the theater itself remains a silent witness to empires that came and went. Romans, Byzantines, Ottomans, Bulgarians, all have left their mark. But Plovdiv endures, resilient and ever-evolving. From the theater, the journey continues to Nebetepe, one of Plovdiv's ancient fortress hills. This site has been inhabited since the 6th millennium BC, older than the pyramids of Giza. The ruins here may seem simple at first. Scattered stones, weathered walls, remnants of fortifications. But as you stand on the hilltop and look out over the city, the true meaning of this place becomes clear. For thousands of years, people have climbed this hill to watch over their world, villages, fields, empires, conflicts, celebrations, generations upon generations. Time collapses in moments like this, reminding you just how small and yet how connected we are. But Plovdiv is not only a city of the past, it is vibrant, alive, full of creativity. Nowhere is this more evident than in the Kapana district, known as the Trap. Because once you enter, its charm refuses to let you leave. Narrow streets burst with color murals, street art, artisan workshops, boutique cafes, and small craft breweries. Musicians perform in open squares. Artists paint while people drink coffee outdoors, and the whole neighborhood pulses with youthful energy. It is the perfect contrast to the ancient heart of the city, showing how seamlessly Plovdiv blends history with modern life. As night falls, Plovdiv transforms again. The Roman theater glows under soft lights. The old town becomes peaceful and atmospheric, and Kapana comes alive with music and conversation. Locals gather in small groups, sharing stories, laughing, living life slowly and beautifully. There is no rush here, only the present moment, held gently within the hands of history. Perhaps this is what makes Plovdiv truly extraordinary. It is not just a city of ancient stones, it is a city of souls. A place where you can walk in the footsteps of ancient Thracians in the morning, admire Ottoman houses in the afternoon, enjoy modern craft culture in the evening, and feel completely at home in every era. Plovdiv embraces all of its identities, merging them into one seamless narrative. As you leave the city behind, one thought lingers. Plovdiv may be old, but it is alive in a way few places are. It carries the past with pride, while creating a future full of color, culture, and creativity. And as our journey through Bulgaria continues, the next wonders will reveal a whole new side of this incredible country, one shaped by coastlines, cliffs, and the endless rhythm of the Black Sea. What if I told you that Bulgaria hides a coastline unlike anything you've imagined, where ancient cliffs plunge into turquoise water, where golden dunes stretch toward the horizon, and where every sunrise feels like the world is being reborn? A place where myths drift on sea winds, where fishermen still mend nets by hand, and where bustling resorts coexist with untouched wild shores. This is the Black Sea coast of Bulgaria, one of the country's most mesmerizing and misunderstood wonders. The journey begins at dawn, when the sky turns from purple to blue and the first light spills across the water. The Black Sea, despite its ominous name, is anything but dark. It glimmers like liquid glass, reflecting shades of emerald and silver as the sun rises. Waves roll gently toward the shore, as if welcoming you into a landscape shaped by thousands of years of history, trade, and tradition. The northern coastline rises dramatically, marked by the towering Kaliakra Cape, a place where beauty blends perfectly with legend. As you approach the cape, winds grow stronger, and the cliffs sharpen into sheer red walls dropping into swirling blue water. At the very edge stands the fortress of Kaliakra, silent, ancient, and powerful. This rocky peninsula has seen Thracians, Romans, Byzantines, and Ottomans pass through, each leaving behind traces of their time. Local legend tells the story of 40 Bulgarian maidens who jumped from these cliffs with their hair braided together, choosing death over captivity. Standing at the edge, with the sea roaring below and birds circling overhead, you can almost feel their courage, their defiance, their unbroken spirit. The wind carries their story, and the waves seem to repeat it endlessly. Moving south, the coast transforms again. The cliffs soften, giving way to quiet coves and wild, untouched beaches. One of the most extraordinary is Bolata Bay, a hidden crescent of red rock and clear blue water that feels like a natural amphitheater sculpted by time. Here, the sea is calm, almost still, and the water shines with an otherworldly clarity. It's easy to forget the world outside when the bay wraps around you like a secret. Further down the coast, the landscape shifts into long stretches of dunes and vibrant resort towns. Golden sands and sunny beach pulse with life during the summer music, lights, bustling promenades, families enjoying the warm sea, travelers experiencing Bulgaria's festive spirit. Yeah, even in these lively places, you're never far from the serenity of nature, because the Black Sea's charm lies in its contrasts. Wild and peaceful, modern and ancient, energetic yet deeply healing. Then comes Nesebar, the jewel of the coast, an ancient city built on a small rocky peninsula surrounded by the sea. It is one of the oldest towns in Europe, a place where quaint wooden houses lean over narrow stone streets, and churches from different eras appear at every turn. Nesebar's old town feels frozen in time, as if history has anchored itself in the waves surrounding it. Walking through Nesebar is like stepping into a living chronicle. The salty breeze carries the scent of the sea mixed with freshly baked bread from small family shops. Fishermen return from early morning trips, their boats gently knocking against wooden docks. And as you explore deeper into the old town, you discover Byzantine basilicas, medieval ruins and homes built centuries ago, each one a quiet chapter of a story still unfolding. Farther south, the coastline becomes wilder, more untamed, and increasingly poetic. Sozopol, one of Bulgaria's oldest coastal settlements, offers a different atmosphere, artistic, gentle, and nostalgic. Its old wooden houses overlook waves crashing against rocky shores, and its harbor glows with golden reflections at sunset. Sozopol's charm lies not only in its ancient roots, but in its slow, soulful rhythm. Life here feels like the sea itself, calm, steady, timeless. And then there is Tsarevets, a name often whispered among travelers seeking untouched beauty. Here, the Veliko River meets the Black Sea in a breathtaking union of water, sand, and wilderness. Horses roam freely across grassy cliffs. The waves crash against rugged rocks, and the beach stretches into a surreal landscape of serenity. This is the Bulgaria most people never see, the one that remains pure, wild, and endlessly captivating. As night falls along the Black Sea coast, a quiet magic settles over everything. The waters darken into the shimmering silver. Fishermen's lanterns glow softly from their boats, and the coastline becomes a ribbon of lights tracing the edge of the land. You feel the ancient stories, the countless lives, the eternal rhythm of the sea all around you. And as you move inland toward Bulgaria's towering mountains, one truth becomes clear. This country is a masterpiece of contrasts. Each region, a different emotion, a different world, yet perfectly connected. The next destination will take us high above the coastline, into peaks that touch the sky, and landscapes shaped by ice, wind, and time itself. What if I told you that the closest place to the sky in Bulgaria isn't just a mountain, but a world of soaring peaks, ancient monasteries, glacial lakes, and landscapes so dramatic they feel carved by the hands of giants? A place where silence hangs like crystal in the air, where clouds drift beneath your feet, and where every step makes you feel smaller yet somehow more alive. Welcome to the Rila and Pirin Mountains, the towering guardians of Bulgaria. From the moment you begin the ascent into these mountains, the world below seems to fade away. Roads twist through dense forests of fir and pine. Sunlight flickers through branches, and the air becomes cooler, sharper, filled with the scent of resin and wildflowers. The mountains rise sharply around you, their jagged ridges slicing into the sky, their valleys sinking into deep, untouched wilderness. It feels like entering a kingdom ruled only by nature. The journey first leads toward Rila Mountain, home to the highest peak in Bulgaria and all of the Balkans, Mount Musala. Standing at 2,925 meters, Musala is a silent titan. As you hike toward its summit, the landscape transforms with every layer. Meadows dotted with alpine flowers give way to rocky slopes, and the air grows thin and crisp. Small glacial lakes appear like mirrors of sapphire wedged between steep cliffs. With every step higher, the world opens wider. Reaching the summit is like stepping onto the edge of the heavens. From here, Bulgaria stretches endlessly in every sly direction, ridges, valleys, rivers, and distant plains blending into a view so vast it feels unreal. The silence is profound, broken only by the wind sweeping across the peak. In this moment, you understand why mountains have always been places of reflection, challenge, and spiritual awakening. Up here, everything feels both eternal and fragile. Descending from Musala, the path leads to one of Bulgaria's most iconic natural wonders, the 7 Rila Lakes. These glacial lakes rest like jewels on the mountain slopes, each with its own character and shape. The tear, the eye, the kidney, the twin, the trefoil, the fish, and the lower lake. 7 pieces of a landscape that feels carved with deliberate artistry. As the sun moves across the sky, the lakes shift in color: turquoise, cobalt, emerald, reflecting clouds that drift lazily across their surfaces. Walking among them feels like moving through a sacred place, and for many it is. The region is known as a spiritual center, where people gather for meditation, energy rituals, and deep introspection. Whether or not you believe in the mysticism of the mountains, one thing is undeniable: their presence affects you. They quiet the mind, open the senses, and remind you of a far older rhythm, the rhythm of the earth itself. Not far from the lakes lies a place even more significant to Bulgaria's cultural and spiritual identity: the Rila Monastery. Hidden deep within the mountains, this UNESCO World Heritage Site has stood for over 1,000 years. Its massive stone walls, arched walkways, and vibrant frescoes make it not just a monastery, but a fortress of faith and heritage. Stepping inside the courtyard feels like entering another era. Painted saints look down from the walls with solemn expressions, their stories preserved in vivid color. The smell of incense lingers in the air, and the sound of quiet footsteps echoes softly beneath the arcades. Rila Monastery is more than an architectural masterpiece. It is the heart of Bulgarian spirituality. For centuries, it sheltered scholars, monks, rebels, and dreamers. It protected culture during dark times and preserved the soul of a nation. Even today, it remains a symbol of endurance, a reminder of the strength and resilience woven into Bulgaria's history. Leaving Rila, the journey curves southwest toward landscapes wilder, sharper, and more dramatic. This is Pirin Mountain, a world forged by ice and time. If Rila is gentle and spiritual, Pirin is bold and fearless, its peaks rising like ancient stone sentinels. Sharp ridgelines dominate the horizon, and glacial lakes lie hidden between vast expanses of granite. One of the most beautiful places in Pirin is the Popovo Lake, a deep blue basin surrounded by towering peaks. The water is so still it looks like glass, perfectly reflecting the gray stone walls above. Hikers sit along its shores in silence, absorbing the raw beauty of a landscape untouched by centuries. Near the lake, the mountain trails lead toward Rila and Pirin's highest peak. Its pyramid-shaped silhouette is unmistakable, drawing climbers from across the world. Rila is not just a mountain, it's an experience. The ascent is steep, rugged, and breathtaking, carrying you across marble slabs and windswept ridges. The higher you climb, the more intense the view becomes. And when you finally reach the top, at 2,914 meters, the entire Pirin range stretches before you like a painting, peaks upon peaks, fading into the horizon. As evening arrives, the mountains shift once more. Shadows stretch across valleys, lakes darken into pools of ink, and the sky glows in shades of orange and gold. The air becomes still, peaceful, infinite. You begin to realize that these mountains aren't just a destination, they're a feeling, a reminder of how vast the world is, and how small we are in comparison. And as we continue our journey across Bulgaria, the landscapes will soften again, because ahead lies a valley unlike any other. A place of fragrance, ritual, and centuries-old tradition. A place where beauty grows from the earth itself. What if I told you that one of the most magical places in Bulgaria isn't defined by mountains or ancient ruins, but by a single scent, one so delicate, so powerful, and so timeless that it shaped an entire nation's identity? A scent carried by morning winds, harvested by generations, and cherished by the world. Welcome to the Valley of the Roses, a place where beauty is not imagined, but grown from the earth itself. At sunrise, the valley awakens with a softness found nowhere else. The first rays of light flow over rolling hills, illuminating endless fields of pink and purple petals. The air is cool, sweet, filled with the gentle fragrance of the famous Rosa Damascena, the damask rose. These flowers are the heart of Bulgaria's centuries-old rose oil tradition, one that produces the finest rose essence on the planet. And here, in this serene valley, the day begins long before the sun fully rises. In the early hours of the morning, harvesters step quietly into the fields, baskets in hand. The world is silent, except for the sound of rustling petals and soft voices drifting through the cool air. Roses must be picked before the sun gets too high, before the delicate oils evaporate. Each blossom is gathered by hand, one by one, with care passed down through generations. Watching this ritual feels like witnessing a dance between people and nature, a harmony that has survived wars, empires, and time itself. The valley stretches between the Balkan Mountains to the north and the Sredna Gora Mountains to the south. This natural enclosure creates the perfect conditions for rose-growing humidity, altitude, soil, and wind, all working together like a divine formula. Over 3 centuries ago, Bulgarians realized this was not just land, it was destiny. The harvested petals are taken to small distilleries, some modern, some carrying the charm of centuries-old tradition. Here, the transformation begins. Large copper vessels heat the petals, allowing their essence to slowly rise, condense, and drip into glass containers. What emerges is more precious than gold, literally. Bulgarian rose oil, known as liquid gold, is used in some of the world's most luxurious perfumes. A single gram can cost more than the finest jewelry. Inside the distilleries, the air grows warm and heavy with the scent of roses. Workers move with a steady rhythm, monitoring temperatures, stirring mixtures, and preserving a craft that is as delicate as the flower itself. Watching the steam swirl above the copper pots feels like witnessing alchemy, an ancient secret, transformed into something eternal. But the Valley of the Roses is not only about fragrance and harvest, it is about celebration. Every year, during late spring and early summer, the region becomes a vibrant canvas of culture, tradition, and joy during the Rose Festival. Streets fill with parades, dancers in traditional clothing, music echoing from every corner, and the crowning of the Rose Queen, a symbol of beauty, youth, and tradition. Locals and visitors join together, turning the valley into a living celebration of Bulgarian heritage. In the town of Kazanlak, the heart of the valley, you can explore the Rose Museum, a place dedicated entirely to the culture and craftsmanship of rose harvesting. Inside, you discover tools used centuries ago, preserved bottles of rose oil, and photographs of the first rose festivals. The museum tells a story of resilience, showing how a simple flower became a national treasure. But this region holds something even older than the rose fields, something carved deep into the earth by ancient civilizations. Near Kazanlak lies one of Bulgaria's most astonishing archaeological sites, the Thracian tomb of Kazanlak, a UNESCO World Heritage Monument. Its frescoes, painted over 2,000 years ago, depict scenes of feasts, rituals, and human emotions that feel strikingly modern. Standing before these murals, you sense the spirit of a people who lived long before the roses, yet whose culture still echoes in the valley's soil. Traveling through the valley, the landscapes continue to shift. Small villages sit quietly among the fields, their red-tiled roofs glowing in the afternoon sun. Elderly women sit outside their homes, weaving or sorting petals, while children run through narrow streets filled with laughter. Time moves differently here, slow, gentle, patient. And then, as evening arrives, the valley transforms once again. The light deepens into warm gold, casting long shadows across the rose fields. The fragrance becomes softer, blending with the cool wind descending from the mountains. It feels like the earth is exhaling a peaceful moment that settles quietly into your memory. This valley is more than a place, it's a feeling, a reminder that beauty doesn't always come from the grand or the powerful. Sometimes it comes from something as fragile as a rose petal, something that must be cared for, protected, nurtured, something that carries centuries of human devotion. As we leave the Valley of the Roses, one truth stays with us. Bulgaria's wonders are not only carved in stone or shaped by mountains, they also grow in silence, bloom at dawn, and speak a language beyond words. And beyond these fields of fragrance lies a different kind of greatness. Ancient walls, soaring fortresses, and the echoes of a medieval kingdom. Imagine a city perched on steep cliffs, its houses cascading down hillsides like a living painting, where every stone seems to whisper the tales of kings, warriors, and empires long gone. A city that once stood at the heart of a medieval kingdom, where power, culture, and artistry converged to create a place both formidable and breathtaking. Welcome to Veliko Tarnovo, the medieval capital of Bulgaria, a city that embodies history so vividly it feels alive. From the moment you approach the city, the landscape commands your attention. The Yantra River winds below like a silver ribbon, curving through green valleys before embracing the city. Above, houses with steep roofs and wooden balconies cling to the hills, stacked one upon the other, forming a labyrinth of streets, stairways, and squares that have existed for centuries. The city rises naturally from the earth, a fortress built by time and shaped by generations who understood the power of terrain as both protection and poetry. The crown jewel of Veliko Tarnovo is undoubtedly Tsarevets Fortress. This medieval citadel sits at the highest point of the city, a symbol of Bulgaria's golden age during the Second Bulgarian Empire. Walking through its massive stone gates feels like stepping into another era. Within the fortress walls, remnants of royal palaces, churches, and towers are preserved, echoing the lives of kings and nobles who once ruled from this vantage point. Standing atop the fortress walls, you can almost hear the murmur of the past, the footsteps of soldiers, the chatter of courtiers, the solemn chants of priests in the royal cathedral. One of the most striking features of Tsarevets is the patriarchal cathedral of the Holy Ascension of God. Its restored frescoes and massive bell tower, capturing the spiritual and cultural heart of the medieval empire. As you step inside, the air feels heavier, charged with centuries of devotion and ambition. Sunlight filters through small windows, illuminating the intricate artwork and casting shadows that seem to dance with stories of kings, saints, and heroes. Every corner of the fortress whispers a lesson about resilience, strategy, and the impermanence of human power. Yet, Veliko Tarnovo is more than a fortress. It is a city that lives in harmony with its medieval roots. The old cobbled streets, like Samovodska Charshia, are lined with artisan shops, galleries, and cafes. Here, woodworkers, potters, and painters continue centuries-old crafts, preserving skills passed down through generations. The smell of fresh bread, roasting coffee, and wooden shavings mingles in the air, creating an atmosphere that feels both timeless and alive. Visitors can watch artisans at work, hear the rhythmic tapping of chisels on wood, and even participate in hands-on workshops, a rare opportunity to connect directly with Bulgaria's cultural heritage. As evening approaches, the city undergoes a transformation. Tsarevets Fortress becomes a stage for the spectacular sound and light show, where history comes alive through music, narration, and projections. Stone walls glow with vivid images of medieval battles, royal coronations, and the rise and fall of dynasties. The fortress pulses with color and sound, turning history into an experience that transcends textbooks and photographs. Watching this display, you feel a profound connection to the courage, creativity, and determination of the people who built and defended this city. Beyond the fortress, Veliko Tarnovo's natural surroundings are equally mesmerizing. Hills and valleys stretch as far as the eye can see, dotted with monasteries, vineyards, and small villages. The Yantra River reflects the twilight sky, creating mirror images of towers and rooftops. Walk along its banks, and you can feel the pulse of life, the continuity of generations who have thrived here, adapted, and left their mark. Perhaps the true magic of Veliko Tarnovo lies in the way it balances strength with beauty. Its walls and towers speak of defense, power, and strategy, while its streets and houses speak of art, culture, and human creativity. It is a city of contrasts, a place where the past is never distant, and every stone, arch, and balcony reminds you that history is not just something to study. It is something to live, feel, and remember. And as the city's lights shimmer in the evening, mirrored in the curves of the Yantra River, you realize that Veliko Tarnovo is more than a medieval treasure. It is a living testament to Bulgaria's enduring spirit. Every corner tells a story, every street holds a memory, and every view inspires awe. Leaving Veliko Tarnovo, you carry with you the echoes of kings, the whispers of monks, and the pulse of a medieval world still alive in the present. Ahead lies a land older than empires, a place where the earth itself holds treasures of gold, tombs, and secrets left behind by civilizations long vanished. What if I told you that beneath Bulgaria's hills and valleys lies a world of secrets older than any written history? Tombs carved into the earth, treasures glittering in the dark, and civilizations whose stories were nearly lost to time. This is ancient Thrace, a land of gold, mystery, and forgotten kings, a civilization that shaped Bulgaria long before the medieval castles and monasteries we admire today. Traveling into the Thracian lands, the landscape changes subtly but profoundly. Gentle plains stretch toward distant mountains, dotted with small villages and fields that have been cultivated for millennia. The soil itself seems ancient, carrying the weight of countless generations. It is here, in these unassuming hills, that Thracian kings once ruled, built grand tombs, and buried their treasures deep beneath the earth to ensure their legacy survived beyond death. One of the most striking examples is the Kazakhstan Thracian tomb, a UNESCO World Heritage Site near Kazanlak. Though small from the outside, its interior is a masterpiece of artistry and symbolism. Stepping inside, you are greeted by frescoes that have survived over 2,000 years, vivid, intricate paintings depicting Thracian rituals, celebrations, and everyday life. Warriors, dancers, and ceremonial scenes fill the walls, reminding us that even in ancient times, humans sought to immortalize their culture, beliefs, and identity. The colors, surprisingly preserved, feel alive. The expressions on the figures feel hauntingly human. But the tombs are not just artistic marvels, they are also gateways into the beliefs and philosophies of the Thracians. Here, death was not an end, but a passage. Gold, silver, and ceremonial items buried alongside rulers were meant to accompany them into the afterlife, reflecting both wealth and spiritual devotion. Archaeologists continue to unearth treasures hidden for centuries. Intricately designed gold wreaths, masks, and jewelry that reveal a civilization rich in artistry, religion, and sophistication. Holding one of these artifacts, even metaphorically, bridges the gap between present and past, offering a glimpse into a world almost lost to memory. Moving further into Thrace, you encounter Perperikon, a site shrouded in both history and myth. Often called the Thracian Acropolis, Perperikon is a sprawling archaeological complex perched on a rocky hill. Its massive stone structures, labyrinthine passages, and carved sanctuaries suggest a place of worship, power, and ceremony. Scholars believe it may have been a religious center, a place where Thracian priests communicated with the gods. Walking through its ruins, the wind whistles through ancient corridors, and you can almost imagine the chants, rituals, and gatherings that once filled this sacred space. The energy of Perperikon is palpable, connecting visitors to thousands of years of human endeavor, belief, and reverence. The Thracian influence extends beyond tombs and temples. It can be felt in surrounding landscapes. Hills, rivers, and valleys carry names and legends that survive in Bulgarian folklore. Some say spirits of Thracian warriors still roam the lands, protecting the treasures and secrets of their ancestors. Shepherds tell tales of hidden gold in the mountains, while local artisans craft jewelry inspired by Thracian designs passed down through generations. The connection between land, culture, and myth is inseparable in Thrace. It is a place where history is not just remembered but lived, breathed, and carried forward. One cannot explore Thrace without acknowledging its mysterious allure. Despite centuries of study, so much remains unknown. Tombs remain undiscovered, treasures still buried, and rituals only partially understood. Every hill conceals secrets, every ruin sparks questions, and every artifact tells only part of a story. It is this combination of mystery and discovery that makes Thrace profoundly captivating, a region that continues to inspire archaeologists, historians, travelers, and dreamers alike. Even as you leave the Thracian lands behind, the impression lingers. You carry with you the echoes of kings and warriors, the shimmer of gold buried in secret chambers, the whispers of rituals performed under moonlit skies. Thrace is a reminder that history is not merely a record of dates and events. It is alive, breathing beneath our feet, waiting for those who dare to uncover it. And as our journey through Bulgaria nears its end, one thing becomes clear. This country is not just a collection of sites or monuments. It is a living story, a tapestry woven from mountains, valleys, seas, roses, and ancient civilizations. And at the very heart of this story lies a land that continues to surprise, enchant, and inspire anyone willing to explore its depths. The final chapter will reveal the essence of Bulgaria, a land that combines nature, history, and human spirit into a singular, unforgettable experience. Have you ever reached the end of a journey only to realize that the most unforgettable part is not a single place, but the feeling that the entire land leaves behind? That is Bulgaria, a country that cannot be captured in a single photo, mapped on a single chart, or summarized in words. Its mountains, rivers, valleys, seas, and cities do not simply exist. They resonate. They tell a story that is ancient yet living, wild yet tender, mystical yet profoundly human. And as our journey concludes, it is time to discover the heart of Bulgaria, the essence that ties together everything we have seen. The journey begins not in one place, but in the air above the country. Looking down, Bulgaria appears as a mosaic. Emerald forests clinging to mountain slopes, rivers winding like silver ribbons, plains glowing gold under the sun, and small villages tucked between hills as if hidden intentionally. This is a land of contrasts, where every region seems to have been shaped by a different artist, yet all parts blend harmoniously into a breathtaking whole. From above, you can see the story of Bulgaria written across its landscapes, a story of resilience, endurance, and beauty. Descending from the sky, the mountains call once more. The peaks of Rila and Pirin rise majestically, clouds rolling over their slopes like drifting spirits. Hikers trace paths that wind around glacial lakes, while monasteries cling to cliffs, as if reminding travelers that human devotion is inseparable from nature. From the snow-capped heights to the lush valleys below, Bulgaria's topography teaches a lesson in perspective, that grandeur is not just measured by size, but by the way it moves the soul. Traveling south, the Black Sea coast stretches endlessly, shimmering under the sun. The golden sands, hidden bays, and charming coastal towns illustrate Bulgaria's ability to balance wild beauty with human life. Fishermen tend nets the same way they did centuries ago. Children run along beaches where Thracians once walked, and sunsets turn the water into a canvas of molten gold. It is here, along the sea, that you feel Bulgaria's rhythm, the slow pulse of nature meeting the enduring heartbeat of culture. In the Valley of the Roses, the fragrance of damask roses drifts through morning air, soft as a whisper yet powerful enough to linger in memory. The tradition of rose oil distillation, passed down through generations, reminds us that Bulgaria's treasures are not only monumental, they are intimate. They are the scents, sounds, and rituals that connect people to the land. This is a country where culture grows from the soil itself, and where beauty is cultivated as carefully as the most precious flower. Cities like Plovdiv, Sofia, and Veliko Tarnovo show the remarkable blend of past and present. Plovdiv, with its ancient Roman theater and cobbled streets, feels like a conversation between civilizations. Sofia, the capital, hums with energy, yet carries layers of history beneath its modern facade. Veliko Tarnovo, perched dramatically above the Antra River, preserves the grandeur of medieval kings while embracing the rhythm of today's life. In these cities, history is not a relic. It is a living, breathing participant in everyday existence. Bulgaria's magic also lies in its mysteries. The ancient tombs of Thrace, the legends of the Rhodope Mountains, and the secrets held within stone fortresses create a sense of wonder that is both historical and timeless. There is an energy here, a connection to generations long gone, that makes every journey personal. Standing before these ruins, walking through old villages, or gazing across endless landscapes, you feel a continuity of life, an unbroken chain that connects you to the past, to the present, and perhaps even to the future. Yet beyond its beauty, history, and mystery, the true essence of Bulgaria is its spirit. Its people are quiet, yet strong, humble, yet resilient. They are keepers of tradition and pioneers of innovation. In small towns and big cities alike, you sense a deep connection to the land, a pride not in wealth or monuments, but in identity, culture, and the ability to endure. It is their warmth, generosity, and authenticity that elevate Bulgaria from a place on the map to a land that lives inside your heart long after you leave. As night falls, the stars emerge over the mountains, rivers, and plains. The air cools, filled with the scent of pine, rose, and earth. A hush settles over the land, a reminder that some of Bulgaria's most powerful moments are quiet, intimate, and deeply personal. It is in these moments alone on a cliff, walking through a rose field at dawn, standing inside an ancient tomb that the country reveals its soul. Bulgaria is a country that surprises, inspires, and endures. It is a tapestry of landscapes, history, and human spirit woven together so seamlessly that every corner offers a new revelation. And as our journey comes to an end, one truth becomes undeniable. Bulgaria is not simply a place to visit, it is a place to experience, to feel, and to carry with you forever. This is the heart of Bulgaria, a land of wonder, mystery, and beauty that refuses to be forgotten. But Bulgaria's story does not end with mountains, rivers, or cities. It extends into the quiet, timeless corners of the country, where traditions endure and the soul of the land whispers most clearly. Imagine small villages tucked away in rolling hills, where life flows at its own rhythm, where smoke curls lazily from chimneys, and where generations of families have tended vineyards, orchards, and gardens in the same way their ancestors did centuries ago. These are the places where Bulgaria's heart beats strongest. One such region is the Thracian Valley, beyond the tombs and ancient sites, where villages like Starosel and Kran preserve the essence of Bulgaria's agricultural and cultural heritage. Here, locals craft pottery, weave textiles, and harvest crops, using techniques unchanged centuries. Festivals celebrate seasonal cycles, from the sowing of seeds to the harvest of grapes, combining work and worship in traditions that honor both nature and community. Walking through these villages, you sense a rhythm of life that is calm, measured, and deeply connected to the land, an echo of Bulgaria's roots that modern cities rarely capture. In these quiet valleys, Bulgaria's culinary heritage comes alive. Traditional dishes, hearty stews, fresh cheeses, roasted meats, and breads baked in wood-fired ovens tell stories of land, climate, and culture. Each meal is a reflection of regional diversity, shaped by the forests, rivers, and mountains that surround the village. Tasting it, you are not just nourishing your body, you are consuming history, culture, and the flavors of a people intimately tied to their land. Even the simplest meals here carry the weight of centuries, the essence of life passed down through generations. Yet Bulgaria is also a country of contrasts, where wild landscapes coexist with cultivated beauty, where history meets modernity, and where the spiritual and the secular intertwine. One example is Ravadinovo Castle, near the southern coast, a fairy tale palace that rises from the hills like something out of a storybook. Though relatively modern, its architecture pays homage to medieval traditions, complete with turrets, towers, and sprawling gardens. Walking through its corridors and gardens, you realize that Bulgaria's spirit is not only in ancient ruins or natural wonders, it is in the imagination, in the desire to create beauty, and in the ability to connect past and present seamlessly. Nature continues to astonish, even in the final chapters of our journey. The Stranja Mountains, along Bulgaria's southeastern edge, are a realm of untamed forests, hidden rivers, and rare wildlife. This is one of Europe's last wilderness frontiers, where oak and beech forests have stood for millennia, and where the flora and fauna carry echoes of a prehistoric world. Hiking through these ancient woodlands, you feel both small and connected, part of a cycle of life that has persisted far longer than any human civilization. Streams sparkle under filtered sunlight, birdsong fills the air, and moss-covered stones seem to hum with age-old wisdom. And then there is the sea once more. The Black Sea, which we glimpsed in earlier chapters, remains a defining force. Its waves, forever moving, remind us that Bulgaria's beauty is not static. Whether in the golden sands of the north or the hidden coves of the south, the coastline teaches lessons of patience, change, and resilience. Fishermen's boats glide across calm waters, children play along the shore, and cliffs rise dramatically from the waves, a harmony of human life and nature's force. It is the perfect symbol for a country whose charm lies as much in its wild, untamed places as in its cultivated history and culture. Even the night in Bulgaria has its own magic. Stars appear with clarity, unknown in crowded cities, their reflections glimmering in mountain lakes, rivers, and coastal waters. Moonlight casts silver across ancient ruins, echoing valleys, and quiet villages. In this darkness, there is clarity, the ability to pause, to reflect, and to realize that Bulgaria is more than a destination. It is a journey into history, nature, culture, and the human spirit. Ultimately, what makes Bulgaria unforgettable is its seamless blend of contrasts. Mountains that reach the heavens, yet shelter tranquil valleys. Cities ancient yet alive with modern energy. Wild landscapes alongside cultivated lands, and stories of empires alongside the quiet traditions of farmers, artisans, and families. Every corner of this country is a discovery. Every region, a lesson in resilience, beauty, and depth. As dawn approaches after our journey's end, the first light of day touches the peaks, rivers, and plains once more. And you realize something profound. Bulgaria is not just seen or visited, it is felt. Its mountains, seas, roses, cities, and forests imprint themselves on your soul, leaving memories that do not fade, stories that do not end, and emotions that endure long after you have left its borders. Bulgaria is a land of wonders, both seen and unseen. A place where every sunrise promises discovery, every village tells a story, and every stone, river, and petal carries the weight of centuries. And as our journey concludes, one truth remains. Bulgaria is not merely a country. It is an experience, a living, breathing masterpiece of nature, history, and human spirit. As our journey comes to an end, it becomes clear that Bulgaria is more than a collection of mountains, rivers, seas, and cities. It is a living story, a tapestry woven from nature, history, and human spirit. Every peak, every valley, every village carries echoes of the past, while breathing life into the present. Bulgaria is not just a destination. It is an experience, a feeling, a memory that stays with you long after the journey ends. Imagine the last rays of sunlight brushing the peaks of the Pirin Mountains, the gentle waves of the Black Sea kissing the shore, the scent of roses drifting across the Valley of the Roses, and the ancient walls of Veliko Tarnovo glowing softly in the evening light. Every detail, every moment, reminds us that Bulgaria is a land of contrasts, majestic yet humble, wild yet serene, timeless yet alive. This is a country that surprises, inspires, and moves the soul. Whether it's standing atop ancient fortresses, wandering through vibrant streets, or simply breathing the air of its untamed mountains, Bulgaria leaves a mark on every traveler. And as we leave this remarkable land behind, one truth remains. The wonders of Bulgaria are endless, and its stories will continue to captivate anyone willing to explore them. Bulgaria is not just a place on a map. It is a journey, a story, and a living masterpiece. And now, it's your turn to discover it. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels, and see you in the next video.